Process of implementing PBL. As a practical pedagogical approach to English language teaching, PBL can be implemented through 4 essential stages. Stage 1. Defining the problem. The learning process under the PBL approach begins with an inquiry or an exploration of a problem that the learners face in the real world context. Learners are asked to discover a problem and raise some pertinent questions related to the problem. They also try to understand the nature of the problem and make certain assumptions. Further, these questions lead them to take the inquiry process in the appropriate direction and set aims for the project. Stage 2. Gathering information. Once the problem is defined, learners intend to gather adequate information about the problem through brainstorming, either individually or in a group. Learners may collect information from multiple resources. However, not all the collected data needs to be appropriate. They tend to develop the rationale for the study by analyzing and reviewing the information gathered through these resources. Stage 3. Following a method. Gathering information helps learners decide on the methods appropriate to conduct a project. The learners actively participate in the study and engage themselves in expanding the ideas collected on various aspects in the initial stage through observation, survey, field trips, personal experience, interviews, and the like. In this process, they are encouraged to inquire about the challenges in a suitable approach and reach a possible solution through analysis and interpretation. Stage 4. Proposing a solution. In the last stage of the study, learners try to propose a possible solution to the problem based on their analysis, interpretation, and evaluation of the information. At this stage, they also tend to find the answers to the questions they raised in the beginning. They recommend some of the solutions that might be helpful to address the problem and suggest how to implement solutions in similar contexts. Following the process to carry out a project. A project under project-based learning demands careful preparation and planning. There are several steps learners need to follow to carry out a project. To set the project with acceptable quality, learners are instructed to devise a proper plan, either individually or in a group. According to Edutopia, there are 6 steps to carrying out a project. 1. Question. 2. Plan. 3. Schedule. 4. Monitor. 5. Assess. 6. Evaluate. Let's look at each of these steps in detail. Step 1. Raising essential questions. Questioning is one of the most important techniques to understand a problem. As stated earlier, a project starts with several inquiry-based questions, and the first step is to define some of the engaging questions. It is assumed that the questions raised by the students involved actively in a particular project may not have direct available answers. Step 2. Plan. In order to find out the answers to the questions, learners need to come up with a proper plan. The plan provides a roadmap and structure to carry out a project. Learners are expected to devise a proper plan. At this stage, teachers encourage the learners to carry out the activities such as planning and decision making, considering the nature and purpose of the project. Step 3. Schedule. The success of a project also depends upon the timely completion of the project. Therefore, learners, under the guidance of teachers, need to assume the time required to complete a project. They should come up with a tentative time and deadline to conduct each project stage. The period considered for the study mostly depends upon the nature and design of the project. Some projects may either take class time, a day, a week, or an entire semester. Step 4. Monitor. Monitoring a project is an important activity. Primarily, it is the teacher's responsibility to monitor the progress of the project work and facilitate the learners to interact and move forward in the right direction properly. In addition, teachers can also extend their support and encourage students with timely feedback, suggestions, resources, and guidance. Moreover, some team members may also be assigned to monitor timely progress. However, the learners involved in the project should not be dependent on the teachers and understand their roles and responsibilities to accomplish the common goal. Step 5. Assess. Assessment is another step to be followed to maintain the quality of an ongoing project. It helps both teachers and learners to assess the progress with diagnostic feedback. Learners participating in a project should frequently evaluate their strengths and weaknesses to improve the quality of the work assigned to them. Ultimately, the assessment process, including self-assessment and teacher assessment, is necessary to assure the quality of the project. Step 6. Evaluate. The last step of conducting a project is to evaluate the learner's experiences, including the outcome of the project. In this regard, reflection is considered a critical component used in the evaluation process. The evaluation process may include self-reflection, sharing experience, discussion on the strengths and weaknesses of the project, scope for improvement, validity and reliability of the project, and ideas for further projects. Some of the assessment tools could include survey questionnaire, observation checklist, interview, structured, semi-structured, open, any kind of interview, interaction and discussion tools, diary and journals, portfolio, self-reflective journals, audio and video recordings. A sample PBL process. The first one, project selection and planning, which is a teacher activity, could involve brainstorming project ideas that align with learning objectives and integrate with other subjects. Consider students' interests and the local context. For the reflection point, think, how can I ensure chosen projects allow students to use language meaningfully and for a real-world purpose? 2. Project introduction and launch. Teacher and student activity. Introduce project guidelines, rubrics, and timelines to the students. Students will brainstorm ideas, choose topics, and form project teams. For the reflection point, think, how can I scaffold students in planning their projects and dividing responsibilities effectively? Third, project research and development. Student activity. Students conduct research, gather information, and develop project content using target language resources. Reflection point. Think, how can I provide guidance on using appropriate language resources and support students with research skills? Fourth, project implementation. Student activity. Students work collaboratively on project tasks, applying their language skills to create presentations, reports, models, or other deliverables. Reflection point. Think, how can I monitor student progress and provide timely feedback to ensure effective language use within the project? 5. Project presentation and reflection. Student and teacher activity. Students present their projects to the class or a wider audience using presentations, demonstrations, or exhibitions. Reflection point. Think, how can I facilitate effective communication during presentations and encourage peer feedback focused on language use? 6. Project evaluation and assessment. Teacher and student activity. Students reflect on their learning experience and the challenges and successes of their project. Teachers assess students' work using the established rubric, focusing on language skills, content knowledge, and project management skills. Reflection point. Think, how can I use assessment data to inform future PBL projects and address any identified learning gaps?